And I remember that every single time that I have felt this insecurity, this imposter syndrome, every single time I felt it, good things have happened to me. Now, there have been mistakes. I've lost money. I've had bad things happen. Small things have gone wrong, but I've overcome those failures. I've dealt with that stress. I've managed the risk, and the plane didn't crash. Big news, guys. I created a free PDF that details my method on how I analyze a self-storage facility and figure out what it's worth. Give me a pen, the back of a napkin, and a couple metrics, and I can figure out about what the property is going to be worth to me. If you want to download this PDF, click in the show notes, the first link, and you can give me your email address, and you get a email right away with a 4-page PDF that outlines exactly how I think about underwriting or giving my initial analysis on a self-storage facility. Again, click the link in the show notes, and you're going to get that document for free.
The Nick Huber Show is sponsored by Juniper Square. And if you raise money for your real estate deals from outside investors, Juniper Square can help you manage the entire process. No more emails, spreadsheets, or scrambling to complete a raise a few days before closing. Investors can commit to your deal, fund your deal, and you can share updates, documents, and even send distributions right from the software. It's as efficient as it gets. I use Juniper Square to manage all of my deals, and it's an incredibly easy way to invite investors to the deal room, raise the money, and stay organized with deal docs and communication. And the best part, it makes me look insanely professional in the eyes of all of my investors. Visit junipersquare.com to learn more.
There's something very, very unique and scary as hell about taking risks when the downside directly lands or rests on your shoulders, on my shoulders. There's nobody else to blame. Nobody else to take the fall. 100% of this is on me. If I win, if we win, good job. And if we lose, it's your fault. It is Nick's fault. Nobody's fault but Nick's. It's your fault. When I look in the mirror, that's what I realize, that there's nobody that I can blame. There's nobody else who's bought into this like me. And if I win, it's a direct result of what I've done. And if I lose, it's on me. There's something about that makes me feel alive and at inner peace, right? I like the fact that I control my own destiny. I don't rely on a lot of things outside of my control to lead to my success or my failure. And another thing is that my default when I get stressed out and have one of these, I don't want to say anxiety attacks because I've never really had a ton of anxiety around this, but when I get that guy on my shoulder telling me that I'm an imposter and that I can't do it and that, I shouldn't be so sure of myself, my default response to that is always just to work harder. When things get really stressful, my default is to put my head down and work like a madman. Insane hours, toiling away, telling my employees to get out of the way. I'm going to do it. I'm going to work. I'm going to outwork this problem. And I've learned over the years that that is not the right way to think about this at all. Because when I do that, I end up working on the wrong shit. My company is bigger than me now. I end up abandoning my team and working on all the wrong things. So the real key for me is to step back and spend some time thinking about what I need to work on. What is the most valuable use of my time right now in this moment? And very, very rarely is it to tell my employee to get out of the way so I can do their job. They don't need me to do that. They need me to zoom out and look at the big picture. I feel like so many entrepreneurs, when they find themselves in stressful situations, they bury their head in work and they ignore the big problems that they need to do. There's the easy stuff and there's the hard stuff. The hard stuff is what needs done when you're most stressed out. But many entrepreneurs ignore that hard stuff and focus on the easy stuff, and it crushes them. It crushes them. So I spend some time being a leader. I spend all my time being a leader, giving my employees better tools, making better decisions, make sure I'm steering that plane. Because my job is not to get back in the engine room and throw more coal on the engine, on the fire in the engine room, right? My job is to get in this cockpit and make sure that we're going in the right direction. So I focus on making clear, unemotional decisions, and there's no time that's harder than when things get a little stressful. Luckily, I've worked my way into easier and easier businesses, so stress, acute stress, meaning one moment in time is extremely stressful, is very rare in the real estate business. It's more of a snowball rolling down a hill, and it's very hard to turn direction. Like you're a boat, you're in the ocean, you're going fast, and it takes you 3 or 4 miles to turn 90 degrees, right? It takes a very long time to change. When we were in our service business, the stressful situations were very acute. They would hit you, and that insecurity would hit you all in a wave because you had a problem right then. There was a truck broken down, something bad happened with a customer. You had a problem right then. But you're young, you're smaller, you're fluid. In real estate, the problems can be bigger and the problems manifest over time. So my job is to make sure I'm steering the plane and make sure that those problems don't manifest, and think about them and worry about them so that my investors don't need to worry about them, my employees don't need to worry about them, and my team doesn't need to worry about them. I can focus on the big problems and how to avoid them. So that insecurity and fear has its place. It does keep me from flying too close to the sun. It keeps me from thinking that I know everything. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a couple successes, and we've had some success in our careers. A lot of entrepreneurs, they get to that place and they think their shit doesn't stink. They think that they know everything. They think that they can make every single decision. They don't need anybody else. They don't need their investors. They don't need anybody to tell them what to do, and everybody else is wrong and I'm right. They surround themselves with yes people, and they end up just getting blindsided by a bunch of information that they didn't want to hear that was standing right in front of them that ruins whatever they're working on. The insecurity for me keeps me from falling into that trap. It keeps me humble. It keeps me from taking too much risk. It keeps me from thinking that I'm the only one who knows anything. So it keeps me logical and helps me manage risk very effectively. For some people, it crushes them in their ability to take risk at all. It crushes them in their ability to sell. It crushes them in their ability to go out and take some risk. So this insecurity that we all battle, we all battle it. I'm not nearly as successful as some people, and they battle it just as much as I do. But beyond that place for insecurity that keeps you humble, beyond that, it's a hindrance. That insecurity keeps me from doing my best work. It makes me emotional, and I can't make good, clear decisions when I'm emotional, fearful. So I squash it, and I focus on doing my job. And I don't know where you're at in your entrepreneurial journey or even your career. If you work for a company, you're going to bump up against serious fear. You're going to bump up against self-doubt. You're going to bump up against this impostor syndrome, feeling that I don't know what I'm doing. How could I go out and try to make real money or build a real company or create real wealth for myself? And that's natural. It keeps us safe. It keeps food on the table for our families many times. And honestly, a lot of people should not be doing what I'm doing. It's a hard job. Building this team is very hard. Raising all this money is very hard. Finding these deals is hard. Structuring, and there's a lot of risk. I'm personally guaranteeing $40 million of debt. So how this affects you, I don't know. You're going to need to do some thinking on this subject. You're not like me. You're not in the situation that I'm in. And I don't want to be that rah, hustle porn guy who just tells you to go, go, go and squash the fear. No, because the fear does have a place. I have to work on squashing my fear because I know deep down logically that I'm making good, clear decisions. But not everybody is good at making decisions the right way. You might not be the best, or you might not have experience at it. I've been making really hard decisions that impact my business for 10 years. They started with really small, low-risk decisions. This is why I'm a big fan of low-risk entrepreneurship. Start really small and low risk, because the bad decisions you make will not cripple you. I like setting myself up where a lot of bad decisions can still lead to success. A lot of failures can still lead to success. We started a small business where we were idiots in the early days. We didn't invest our time or our money the right way, but we did some things well, and those things kept the plane off the ground. It kept us moving in the right direction. Time did its thing, and here we are. Absolutely don't go try to raise $20 million of venture capital before you have revenue. Don't take 6 months off building a product before you go sell something. Don't jump in without having any idea how real estate works and try to raise $70 million to buy a bunch of storage. Entrepreneurship is a stairway, and start at the bottom step and work your way up. Low risk, high reward, or low risk, low reward at first, and it works its way into higher risk, higher reward when you get better at what you do. That's where I feel like we are right now. We're better at what we do than 10 years ago when we started our business for the very first time. So I don't know how this will impact you. Do some thinking on it, right? I'm not going to be the hustle porn guy that tells you to go at all costs, push through the failure at all costs. No, because that's not for everybody. There's a natural bit of fear that really helps entrepreneurs, helps you see your blind spots. It helps you be humble. It helps you accept the fact that you're wrong a lot, change your mind on things that are really important for your company and you, and then eventually overcome that stuff and be successful.
Before you go, we have a new sponsor of the show, recostseg.com. And if you bought a piece of real estate, you need to get a cost segregation study done. It's what allows you to get all that sweet, sweet bonus depreciation, and it's how real estate investors like me and many others pay almost nothing in taxes on an annual basis. You can cost seg a single family rental, a short-term rental, or a large commercial property. recostseg.com is affordable and aggressive and super fast to turn them around. They've done 10 plus cost segs for me this year. They're going to do many more for me. Visit recostseg.com to learn more.